I remember sitting with my dear friend Louise one afternoon, the sun shining through her window in soft golden rays. She was 78 at the time, her pale blue eyes clouded with grief as she clutched a faded photograph of her husband. He had passed away suddenly 6 months prior. In that quiet moment, I could see the depth of her loss etched into every worry line on her face. The pain of losing a lifelong partner can feel impossible to bear, and for many of us past 65, loss seems to visit more frequently: spouses, siblings, longtime friends. Whether it's the passing of loved ones or the slow loss of certain abilities, each new absence can feel like another piece of ourselves is slipping away. And yet most of us are never taught how to cope with this constant undercurrent of grief that marks the later chapters of life. Have you ever noticed how some people in their 70s or 80s manage to navigate loss with remarkable grace, while others find themselves sinking into loneliness or despair? Too often we try to push away our sorrow, denying it space in our lives. Or we do what we think is right based on advice we've heard over the years, only to discover it leaves us feeling even more isolated. The truth is, improper coping can lead to strained relationships with adult children, missed opportunities for meaningful connection, and a creeping sense of hopelessness. Loss, if left unaddressed, can rob us not only of our peace of mind, but also of our ability to find new joys in life. It can even take a toll on our physical health, magnifying aches, pains, and chronic conditions. I've seen far too many seniors lose precious years to the overwhelming weight of grief, but it doesn't have to be that way. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 5 common mistakes seniors make when dealing with grief after 65, and, more importantly, show you how to break free from them. By the end of this conversation, you'll see a new path emerge, one that honors the memories you carry while allowing you to move forward with renewed purpose. You'll discover specific strategies that can transform how you manage difficult emotions and strengthen your ability to build new connections. Above all, you'll learn why there's still so much life yet to be lived, even when it feels like loss has overshadowed everything. What I'm about to share isn't just my opinion. It's based on years of observing how seniors respond to bereavement and the research emerging from specialists who focus on late-life well-being. Grief is universal, but how we cope is deeply personal, and there are proven methods to make this process healthier and more hopeful. So if you've ever felt stuck in the darkness of loss or worried that things will never get better, I encourage you to stay with me until the very end. That last point we'll discuss today might be the very thing most people overlook, yet it can be the key to redefining what your life looks like after 65. Before we begin, if you find value in conversations like these, I invite you to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. And if at any point you want to let me know how this resonates with you, simply leave a comment. Even typing just a single 1 if you appreciate what you're hearing, or 0 if you have a different viewpoint, helps guide the content we create. Let's explore these 5 mistakes together and find a better path forward. Mistake number 1 might surprise you: believing you should handle loss on your own. On the surface, it might seem like the strong, independent thing to do, especially if you grew up in a time when you were expected to keep personal struggles private. But in truth, this cultural habit of facing grief alone can be quietly devastating. Many seniors think turning inward is the safest way to avoid burdening their children or friends, or they worry about seeming weak. Yet this very approach can magnify loneliness and prolong suffering. One common misconception that most of us carry is that asking for help signals defeat. We tell ourselves we've lived a long life, we should have all the answers by now, or perhaps we feel it's too late to learn something new. But let me share the story of James, age 74, who lost his wife to a sudden heart attack. He didn't want to appear needy, so he withdrew from social gatherings and rarely answered the phone. Over time, his adult children visited less and less because they felt their presence only reminded him of his wife's absence. This well-meaning family didn't realize that James was struggling under a painful assumption that he was supposed to cope quietly and stoically. The surprising truth is that genuine support, whether from a close friend, a caregiver, or even an online community, can shorten the darkest periods of grief and make us feel connected once again. Human beings at every age are wired for community. When you resist reaching out, you cut yourself off from a powerful source of healing. In fact, many specialists note that social connections play a bigger role in senior mental health than just about anything else. It's not about talking endlessly about your sorrow if that's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's simply about allowing people to show up for you, whether that's cooking you a meal, listening to your favorite stories, or even inviting you to join a new activity. Here's a practical step you can take. Pick just one person you trust, a friend, neighbor, or family member, and share something real about how you're feeling. It could be a small, honest admission such as, "I'm having a harder day than usual," or "I really miss talking to my spouse in the morning." This single brave act often opens the door to deeper support. If you feel you have no one around, consider a grief support group at a local community center or even on the internet. Many seniors have discovered life-changing connections online, realizing they're not alone in what they're facing. When you practice reaching out, you gain the emotional benefit of knowing there's a safety net beneath you, a circle of people who can catch you on the days you're at your lowest. Over time, it's that sense of belonging that replenishes hope and reminds you that life can still hold beauty, even after loss. Mistake number 2 centers on avoiding the pain. This might sound counterintuitive because, naturally, we don't want to dwell on sadness. Yet by refusing to face our grief head-on, we inadvertently allow it to fester. Think about it like a splinter. Ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It just gets buried deeper and can cause more harm down the line. Many seniors believe that distracting themselves with TV, excessive tidying, or even overcommitting to volunteer work will make the pain subside. Instead, what often happens is a numbness sets in, a dull emptiness that robs life of color. One of the biggest misconceptions here is that talking about the loss or allowing tears to flow will keep the wound fresh. But in reality, acknowledging grief is a crucial step toward healing. Consider Eleanor, who was 79 when she lost her only sister. For months, she refused to visit the places they used to go together, certain it would trigger overwhelming sadness. She even removed family photos, tucking them away in a drawer where she couldn't see them. On the outside, she seemed to be coping well, but inside she felt stuck, unable to remember the good times without a sense of dread creeping in. Eventually, she realized that by shying away from the memories, she was also losing a part of herself and the deep love she still had for her sister. The surprising insight is that leaning into your sorrow, whether by journaling, speaking to a confidant, or even looking at photos that bring both tears and smiles, can release grief little by little. It's similar to letting steam out of a pressure cooker. The more you allow moments of honest expression, the less control the pain exerts over you in your day-to-day life. Specialists who work with seniors often encourage structured grief time, setting aside 10 or 15 minutes a day to reflect, pray, or just sit quietly with the sadness. This practice can prevent the pain from creeping into every aspect of your life, transforming it into a manageable process rather than an overwhelming weight. A simple "try this" moment. If a memory surfaces and you feel tears welling up, don't push them away. Allow yourself a safe space to cry or speak it aloud. If tears don't come, that's okay too. It's the permission to feel that matters. Over time, this approach helps transform sharp, unpredictable spikes of sorrow into a gentler wave that you can navigate more steadily. By facing your grief directly, you eventually reach a place where memories of your loved one, or reflections on what you've lost, bring warmth and gratitude alongside any lingering sadness. This emotional benefit is profound. Your memories become comforting rather than haunting, and you regain the ability to find small joys in everyday life without fear that the weight of the past will break you. If you're still watching and finding these insights meaningful, please leave a comment with the number 2 to let me know you're here. Your interaction not only helps me understand what resonates, but also supports the creation of more content aimed at helping you and others navigate these challenging phases of life. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on notifications. It's a simple way to stay connected and ensure you don't miss out on future videos that might help you in moments like these. Now let's move on to mistake number 3, forgetting that your health needs special attention. After a loss, it's surprisingly common to neglect our physical well-being. Grief can sap motivation. Suddenly, simple tasks like cooking a balanced meal or taking a short walk can feel monumental. The misconception here is thinking, I'm in mourning, so everything else can wait. In reality, prolonged neglect of your health can compound grief, leading to fatigue, weakened immune function, and exacerbated chronic conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes. Picture Gerald, who was 72 when his older brother passed away. He found himself eating less, sometimes skipping meals because he didn't feel like cooking for just himself. Week by week, he lost weight and strength, and his doctor became concerned about his deteriorating mobility. What started as grief evolved into a real risk to his overall health. The surprising truth is that staying physically active and nourishing your body isn't a betrayal of your loved ones. It's an essential part of honoring them. When you look after your health, you preserve your energy, mood, and ability to engage in life. A life that, in some ways, you continue living for both yourself and for the memory of those you've lost. Here's what you can do. Create a gentle routine that includes basic physical activities. Even a short 15-minute walk around your neighborhood or a series of light stretches can help. If you dread cooking alone, consider preparing simple meals that can be frozen or ask a friend to share a cooking day with you. Turn it into a social event and keep an eye on your sleep patterns. Grief can disrupt normal sleep, so establishing a calming bedtime ritual, such as reading a few pages of a comforting book or listening to soothing music, can make a difference. The emotional benefit of prioritizing your health is immense. When your body feels cared for, your mind can better process sadness, and the heaviness of grief becomes more manageable. Rather than getting stuck in a cycle of physical decline and emotional despair, you'll find a renewed sense of possibility and, more importantly, the strength to explore new activities or spend quality time with people who lift your spirits. This leads us to mistake number 4, putting your life on hold. Often, seniors believe they have to place everything they love on pause while they grieve. They might stop attending social gatherings, cancel long-awaited travel plans, or give up their favorite hobbies out of guilt, thinking it's disrespectful to have fun or move forward in any way. But let me share a story about Marion, age 77, who lost her closest friend of 50 years. Feeling that life would never be the same, Marion stopped her weekly painting class and turned down an opportunity to visit her granddaughter out of state. She told herself she was too sad to do these things. Over time, she realized she was not only grieving her friend, but also grieving the life she used to lead, which was now fading away. Here's the counterintuitive truth. Continuing to do the things you love, or even exploring new passions, doesn't diminish your sorrow. It helps you move through it. Life isn't a straight line where grief requires a full stop. It's more of a winding path where joy and sadness can coexist. The act of creating, traveling, or connecting with others can actually be a tribute to the life and love you shared with those who've passed on. You carry your memories into new experiences, giving them added depth. A practical, actionable step is to identify one activity, something that brought you a spark of happiness, and reintroduce it into your life on a small scale. Maybe it's gardening for just half an hour a day, or resuming a knitting project you set aside. If even that feels too daunting, consider combining your interest with remembrance. Dedicate each flower you plant to a loved one, or knit something in their favorite color. By blending grief with creativity or enjoyment, you create a meaningful tribute that keeps the essence of your loved one alive. The emotional benefit here is profound. You begin to see that your world, though changed, still contains possibilities for growth and fulfillment. Engaging with hobbies and activities can lift your mood, give structure to your days, and remind you that life continues to offer moments of solace, connection, and even delight. If you've made it this far and feel these ideas resonate, comment with the number 4 below. I appreciate your engagement, and it truly helps in guiding the kind of videos and discussions we produce here. Plus, it's a small but meaningful way to let me know you're finding value and aren't alone in this journey. If you haven't yet subscribed, now is a good time to do so. There's so much more we can explore together about living fully after 65, even when facing life's toughest challenges. Now, on to the 5th and final mistake: refusing to seek professional support when needed. Many seniors believe therapy or counseling is unnecessary, or they may fear the stigma of seeing a shrink. Yet this reluctance can be a major stumbling block to moving forward. The underlying misconception is thinking you should have it all figured out by now. But grief doesn't follow a neat timeline, and sometimes the depth of loss requires guidance beyond friends or family. Consider Stephen, who was 80 when he lost his son in an accident. The devastation he felt was unlike anything he had experienced before. Well-meaning friends tried to comfort him, but none could fully grasp the anguish. He hesitated for months about seeking professional help, worried it was a sign of weakness or that no one would understand. When he finally connected with a specialized grief counselor, he discovered a safe space to process the unspoken guilt, anger, and heartbreak. That decision became a turning point. He started to feel a weight lift as he gained coping strategies and a sense of renewed purpose. The surprising insight is that professional support, whether individual counseling, group therapy, or a faith-based support network, can act like a bridge between despair and hope. Professionals trained in senior mental health can offer tools tailored to your stage of life, whether that means helping you navigate practical challenges, like living alone or managing finances, or addressing deeper emotional wounds that have resurfaced with grief. In some cases, short-term therapy is enough to realign your mindset. In others, ongoing support can be a meaningful lifeline. A powerful action step is to simply make one inquiry call, maybe to your local community center or a trusted medical professional, and ask about grief support services. Even if you're not certain you need it, gathering information can ease your mind and remind you that help is available. If traditional counseling feels daunting, you could explore online sessions, which many seniors find more comfortable and convenient. As for the emotional benefit, seeking help can accelerate the healing journey. Instead of drifting through endless days of sorrow, you learn tools to process complex emotions, foster resilience, and reconnect with the world around you. You come away feeling heard, validated, and better equipped to handle the ebbs and flows of grief. So there you have it. 5 common mistakes that often hold us back from coping with loss in a healthy, life-affirming way. Let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered. First, there's the trap of believing we should handle grief alone, which only multiplies isolation. Second, avoiding the pain might seem protective, but it ends up burying our sorrow deeper. Third, neglecting physical health during grief can spiral into bigger problems that overshadow any chance of feeling better. Fourth, putting life on hold robs us of the healing power of joy in meaningful activities. And finally, refusing professional support when we truly need it can keep us stuck in a loop of unresolved heartbreak. It's one thing to hear these points, but another to act on them. As you contemplate these ideas, remember that real change happens when you decide to take the first step, no matter how small. Can you see yourself reaching out to someone you trust? Could you give yourself permission to weep openly when a memory surfaces? Maybe you'll resume a little routine that once brought you peace, or perhaps you'll make that call to find out more about counseling or group therapy. Imagine how your life could look in 6 months if you begin to honor both your grief and your need to keep living fully. Perhaps you'll feel lighter, more hopeful, and a bit more open to surprises, like forging a new friendship or revisiting a passion project that once brought you so much joy. This isn't about denying what you've lost. It's about recognizing that the story of your life still has chapters waiting to be written. Loss can be a powerful teacher if you allow it. It can deepen your empathy, sharpen your appreciation for small pleasures, and strengthen bonds with those who remain in your life. Don't let fear or pride stop you from seeking the support and tools you deserve. Time moves forward whether we like it or not, and the sooner you take action, the sooner you can begin to weave moments of comfort and happiness back into your days. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing which of these 5 mistakes resonated with you the most and how you plan to address it. Even if it's a simple, "I need to focus on my health again," that reflection can be a meaningful first step. Your stories and insights also help others realize they're not alone, creating a supportive network among viewers who truly understand the challenges of coping with loss after 65. If you found value in this discussion, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need a reassuring voice right now. Spreading this message can change another person's life too. giving them the hope and resources to handle their own grief. Your support means so much. It allows us to continue making content that speaks directly to your concerns and aspirations. Together, we can navigate this often unspoken terrain of sorrow and transformation. Remember, no matter how great the loss, you have the power to shape your own healing journey. Within you lies the resilience to build new memories and foster fresh connections. Allow yourself the grace to grieve, but also the permission to rediscover life's joys. Thank you for watching and listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, may you find peace in remembrance and courage in the days ahead.